What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com, FightfulSelect.com. You all already know FightfulWrestling.com is your source for pro wrestling news. We had information for tonight's SmackDown well before it was up. By well, I mean several minutes, at least. FightfulSelect.com, a nice way to get additional Fightful content. You still get all your free wrestling news at FightfulWrestling.com. FightfulSelect.com. For example, we have dark match commentary where I provide commentary over old dark matches. This week's this time around, we're doing AJ Styles versus Rico Constantino, a former American Gladiator at that. Also, head over to our Instagram at Instagram.com/FightfulOnline, or just follow us at Fightful Online. You may remember our June podcast sponsor, OMG, from OMG.com. It is very easy to enter this OMG-inspired giveaway. Just go over, follow us, look for the OMG wrestling comic. The entry rules are posted in the caption. It's a good time, as I like to say. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski. Alex, you know, there have been certain companies that have, how could I say this without getting fired? Reached out to us and said some things, voiced their displeasure with things that we have said or that we have revealed. I think not a company, but a man, Jeff Hardy, might be a little upset with you. Because I mean, you pitched this whole ear-ripping shit.
Well, not specifically. I mean,
it did.
I can't help but feel at least partly responsible. I've been begging for a Randy Orton heel turn. And I didn't know he was going to take it this far. I mean, I feel like I owe Jeff Hardy an apology, as well as his ear care professional, because a damn.
Before we get into SmackDown Live, reminder, FightfulSelect.com, we have the new NXT 205 live show hosted by Mr. Warren Hayes. If you all are in the live chat, you will see him. He does a great job breaking those down. He is also doing G1 Climax weekly wrap-up podcasts. This in addition to your members-only shows, your Q&A shows, the Weekender shows, the alternate commentaries that I sprinkle in, and our retro review. Just go check it out. But most importantly, visit Fightful.com. Anyway, SmackDown Live did happen tonight. This comes just on the heels of us hearing that Raw's ratings, or viewership rather, rebounded in a big way, up an average of 400,000 viewers. That is a whole Impact.
Yes.
So that's good, positive news. Do you think it is in relation to just the thought that Brock Lesnar might be on the show?
That might have been it. I think a lot of people have realized that the go home show is the do nothing show. You're never going to miss anything. Nothing's going to change. Whatever the card was going into that show, it's going to be pretty much the same going out. But after the Raw, after the pay-per-view, new things are starting. They're going to determine new challengers. The Raw after pay-per-view is always much more exciting than the Raw before the pay-per-view. So maybe that's part of it. We'll see if there's a difference between the SmackDown ones as well. That's the way I always see it. Who knows?
Starts off with Jeff Hardy coming to the ring. Says that he looks and he sounds like Jeff Hardy, but he doesn't feel like Jeff Hardy. His heart is broken. Says that he will beat Nakamura for the United States title tonight. Backstage, Nakamura calls Jeff Hardy a sad clown. Nakamura is one of the best guys in the company on the mic.
It's true.
Isn't that wild?
It is wild. It is wild. I love that as a heel, it's either like really fun, interesting heel promos or no speak English. And both of those things work in equal parts in different ways. But as babyface Shinsuke, he was just like, I'm crazy. You should root for me. And it didn't work. But this guy's super interesting, and it totally works for him.
So that sets up the match. as reported on Fightful.com ahead of the show. But announced by WWE ahead of the show, AJ Styles against Andrade Cien Almas, which also features, this setup featured Zelina meeting AJ Styles, and I think it was AJ saying, "Nice to meet you." They worked in TNA together for several years.
Of course. None of that mattered.
Several years. So early on, Almas does the Tranquilo spot, which I love that she gets involved in. That makes it even better, even more obnoxious, even cuter than it was originally, rather. And it flusters Styles. He does this, and he did rebound from a little bit of a sloppy spot to do that. So I thought that was great. They go wild during the break. I don't know if you watched this during the break.
I
did. They
did.
didn't treat this like a break.
Nope.
There was an inverted power bomb.
Yeah, this was very, very good. This was everything I wanted it to be, especially if it's the first in a series in some kind of program between these two. At least that these two are part of a program heading into SummerSlam. This was what I wanted. I wanted, like, Andre Almas coming out of NXT the way he did was at the very top of his game, one of the best in the world. He should be having matches with AJ Styles. He should not be months off of TV and slumming it with Sin Cara. He should be having matches with AJ Styles. This was great.
This was an outstanding match. Styles hits a sliding forearm. Almas answers after the break. During that break, as I said, an inverted power bomb. That was really, really good. Almas was treating this like they're treating this match like the big chance that it was for him.
Yes.
This was a good showing. A lot of people upset that he lost, but man, he has barely been on WWE TV, and he took AJ Styles to the limit. He got this close with a standing moonsault.
Yes, well,
Styles.
A double moonsault. That's one of my favorite spots that he does.
I was sold. I was like, damn, is this going to be like a 1-2-3 Kid-esque
that'd be great.
quick win? But
yeah,
I mean not to compare the two characters,
right. But I mean it's not for the title. So there's certainly something you could do there that could have like AJ Styles be like, well, I had been prepping for a month for a giant dude like Rusev. I had not been prepping for a guy with the moveset of Andrade Almas, and I got caught. I'm not going to get caught next time. I want a rematch. That's totally something you could do out of Andrade Almas getting a flash pin on him or beating him clean with a great move. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I hope it's not a one-off. I know we're going to get an announcement from Paige next week. I have a theory as to what I hope that will be, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point.
Styles lands an Ushi-Giroshi, gets knocked off the ropes. AJ Styles has truly mastered the art of taking that bump off a springboard. He does it, and he never gets hurt.
Nope.
There's a rope-hung backbreaker from Almas, a big drop kick to Styles, who's on the top rope. That double moonsault was so clever. He landed on his feet and then did another one, and it worked. A great near fall. He eats a Pele kick while he's on the top rope. They got to stop doing that dumbass Del Rio spot. No, it's so dumb.
I feel like that's a direction
from
somebody in the back. Like somebody's like, well, Del Rio's not here. And you know what I really love? Says a certain guy. That thing where the guy's holding himself up and he stomps him on the chest. Hey, that new kid, he's also Latin. Let's have him do it since Del Rio's not here anymore. I miss seeing that. That's something that I would be plausible to me, a conversation happening somewhere in the back.
There are double knees in the corner. Styles turns a hammerlock DDT into a calf crusher. Almas taps. I personally have no problem with Almas losing, no problem with Almas tapping. He went at it with AJ Styles, the champion. Not just the champion since like what, November?
No, I mean he's held the belt. I don't even know how many hundreds of days since he first became WWE champ. I mean, he was champ for a long time. Then he wasn't champ for a while, and now he's been champion for a longer time than he was the first time. They've given him this program and said he's the top guy on Tuesdays, if not in the entire company, because guess what? He shows up. So he's different than all the other champions on the other brand.
The only guy to hold the title longer, this title, in the last decade than Styles is CM Punk. So
yeah,
they're giving Almas this match with a guy who's had this kind of run. And then, like, we're talking, like, through a lot of seasons where you can reset. You know what I mean? You can reset before the Rumble. You can reset at Chamber. You can reset at Mania. He held it through all that.
Yeah.
Not just that. Styles is holding the title through SummerSlam season. So it's somebody that they obviously just have an insane amount of confidence in. And the fact that they put Almas in this match with him, I think says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you say, took him to a limit. I mean, this should be absolutely the beginning of something. I don't want this to have been the beginning and the end of something. This could lead somewhere very important.
Almas walks off a little bit pissy, but AJ Styles, I think the look on his face told the story. He saw Almas as a threat, and that's important. When you do that, and AJ Styles knows this. He knows how to make somebody with a glance. And not that Almas did need making. He'd been doing 50-50 matches with Sin Cara, not in that he wins and loses, but that Sin Cara's getting all this offense. I think AJ Styles did Almas a great service in even beating him.
Yeah. There's a trope in old westerns of the guy who's the fastest gun in the West until he's not the fastest gun in the West anymore. And they're going to come along somebody who's just a little faster than him. Maybe this new guy isn't as fast as the first guy was in his prime, but he's lost a little bit on the quick draw. Like there's that there. That's a great old story you can tell where AJ Styles knows he's got to dig even deeper than normal because he's, I mean, what has he got? 10 years on Almas? Like that's a cool story to tell of this kid coming for my title. He's coming for my spot in this company. That's a cool story to tell. So we'll see if they go that way.
First time they have wrestled since 2014 in a New Japan Tag League tag team match. Tetsuya Naito was Almas' partner. Yujiro Takahashi was AJ Styles' partner. Backstage, we see Aiden English, and he pleads with Lana, and he's blaming himself. He is taking full blame for Rusev's loss. Now, I think this protects Rusev an awful lot, him saying this.
Yeah.
He is absorbing all the blame. But the story is Lana and her accent.
Yeah.
In which she only turns on when she says Rusev.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Aiden, I think maybe it's time for you to talk to Rusev, and then maybe the two of you can come to an agreement. But if I'm going to go, I'll put in a good word for you with Rusev, and then we can actually, it's just so great. It's like,
I love it.
It's good.
She is self-aware. Yeah. I don't know if that's a directive or not. I'll try to find out, but that's awesome. English wants a second chance. Sure.
Yeah.
Backstage, Ty Dillinger is there, and R-Truth shows up, asks if he's ready. But as it turns out, R-Truth was talking to his mom via Bluetooth.
Yeah, but via Bluetooth because it is 2007.
Via Bluetooth. Well, here's the thing. Bluetooth kind of disappeared for like 6-7 years until speakers became the wave.
Yeah.
Now there's at least, because I mean, back in the day, if you had Bluetooth, you were either on one of those douchey headphones or you were making some ringtones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were making some ringtones and you were sending them to people. Here's a fun story. I made like all the ringtones in my town. And I'm just, minding my own business. I'm taking a piss at a concert in Huntington, West Virginia.
Oh.
And I had a tag, a little sound that would go on at the beginning of my ringtones to specify they were mine.
Oh.
I heard one of them pissing 3 spots away from me. Carried 100 miles out.
Yeah, that's right.
I was so proud that my offspring, why don't you get a job ringtone, made it so far.
Oh, great.
I don't know if R-Truth had it, but there you go. He appears. He's 46 years old. Becky Lynch against Mandy Rose. She defeated Mandy Rose. Now, a lot of people always ask me about my match ratings. They go up Tuesday, Wednesday morning after SmackDown. If you get a run-of-the-mill TV match, and there's nothing offensive, it's going to land at 5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. It slides up or down. If somebody screws something up or they do something just flat-out offensive, then it slides down to the 4s. If the match is pretty good, if it's good, it's going to end up at a 6. And when you get to the 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, that's really good. This is just one of those matches that is not going to budge from a 5 out of 10. I see what they were doing. They were accomplishing something, and that's all they were doing. That's all they needed to do. Mandy Rose, I get upset when people compare her to Eva Marie. She ain't Eva Marie.
No, she's much
because she's hot does not mean she's Eva Marie.
No.
If Eva Marie were anywhere near the world that Mandy Rose is in the ring, Eva Marie would still be on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mandy Rose is passable. She is just fine.
She's just fine, and she's getting better. She's really young. You know, I mean, she fulfills a role. There's some really good stuff. I'll never forget that the first time I ever saw her in a match, she was in NXT versus Ember Moon. And she countered a flying head scissors into this like sit out face bomb. Like I've never seen it before. I haven't seen it since. I was like, that's cool. I'm gonna watch her, and I love her like running knee lift thing to the face. That's great. Side note on Eva Marie, I still think the next time they have a women's Royal Rumble, they should have the guy come out, the guy's voice do the now from Hendrick, whatever it was, that amazing entrance she used to do, and have her like pull up lame on her way to the ring. Just like that'd be so cool just to do one quick callback to that because people would go ape for it.
This match was just fine. It was very, very basic. I like that Mandy scouted Becky's corner kick after the first time and then yanked her out in the middle of the ring. Mandy applies her modified octopus stretch. Becky comes back, hits the Bexploder and the disarmer for the win. The story of this is the direction. Becky Lynch challenges Carmella. Carmella is backstage with Paige. They have a little back and forth. Mella wants another Mellebration. Instead, she's getting Becky next week, where if Becky wins, she gets a shot at the title at SummerSlam. No Asuka on this show.
Nope.
Looks like this could be the direction. However, you know the 50-50 rule in WWE, essentially. If Becky wins, she might not be winning the title.
Well, yeah, I mean, if she has to win in order to get into the match, in the thing they've put, I guess they could just put her in the match. But we settle things in the ring, Sean Ross Sapp. So I don't know. I liked the promo. It was an old school. I'm the baby face you like to cheer for. I'm going to dedicate myself to making sure that you have a reason to. Let's go together toward me being a champion because I couldn't do it without you. That's great. That's old school. It's really well delivered by Becky, and it's true. Like she is like the people's champ of the women. Like everyone's rooting for her. She's been kind of done dirty with the booking over the past year or whatever. Like she was the first ever women's SmackDown champion.
You forget it sometimes.
You forget, because her Achilles heel was Alexa Bliss, and so many people's Achilles heel was Alexa Bliss. So since then, it's been kind of up in the air. Listen, I'm always rooting for Becky Lynch. So we'll see where this goes. But, I wouldn't mind seeing the babyface have the title because basically, I mean, like, listen, Nia Jax on Raw was the babyface, won the title, immediately reverted to being a heel. Like, can we have somebody to really root for in the women who's got a title ever? Because no, they feel like,
and nobody wants to like Nia Jax anyway.
Right. Well, that's true. But
she's the type of person you don't know if she's a babyface or a heel.
Yeah, that's true.
Until she walks out on the ramp and is accompanying whoever.
Right.
Oh, is she going to support Alexa this time, or is she going against Ronda?
I'm just saying, on one of these two shows, I want to be able to root for the women's champ.
Well, even just some parody would be nice. Carmella and Alexa just mirror each other so much.
Yeah.
They cut a lot of the same promos where they come out and they say, I really want to thank the WWE Universe. Hot psych!
They're the same version. They're the same character. There are differences and nuances between them, but they're the same character. Both shows have that role as their champion. It'd be really, because even when Charlotte was champion on SmackDown, I didn't really root for her. I mean, she's indestructible. I want to have somebody who's like, I really want to have to root for. That'd be kind of cool. We just don't get that very much anymore.
Speaking of Charlotte, she said in an interview recently she ruptured both implants, had saline leaking up to her armpits, fought through it through WrestleMania season. She's hoping to be cleared by July 31st. Not a secret. She's probably hoping for SummerSlam season. You think of Charlotte getting back in the fold? Keep in mind, regularly people are absent from the show now. Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
Me too.
That is a good thing. Now, I don't want to say the show is like rocking on all cylinders or anything.
No, but you can have a lot.
Yes,
a lot more room to give to people, like space, where you can tell this story every week for a month, while you're not having to we got to check in with this for a minute and a half just to make sure it's still fresh in everybody's mind. Like it kind of takes away from it. So
Usos haven't been on the show for weeks. The Bludgeon Brothers weren't on this week. There were no tag. I mean, the tag division was Sanity and Usos this week.
The Bar hasn't been on in weeks. Months. So I mean, here's the thing: if that's the case, that's great, because these guys, they don't need to work every week on TV. Give them a break. Let them rest up a little bit. They're working the house show circuit. Give them a night off. It's good. It's good for let their bodies heal up. There's no season in wrestling. These guys need an off season. If it's a couple of weeks here and there, that's good for them.
Ty Dillinger attacked Samoa Joe early. This match set up because Joe attacked Dillinger last week. Dillinger quickly gets his ass kicked and choked out.
Yes.
Couldn't even give this a rating. It was a squash, but Joe squashed Dillinger. It's what you got to do.
Yep. My hope is that we're getting some version of AJ versus Joe versus Almas in the lead up to SummerSlam. Maybe we get an Almas versus Joe match for the right to do it.
I'm going to do a TNA Unbreakable Retro podcast review with Mr. Warren Hayes, and it'll be up early for Fightful Select subscribers, but I'm going to release it free to Fightful.com next month. I think that could be their Joe, Daniels, AJ that headlined that show. Now, is Joe where he was physically?
No.
No. And if you've ever seen the stair spot, you'll know why, when he did a senton to some stairs.
Oh, good Lord.
But it's going to be, if they were to do that, it'd be very, very good.
Yes.
Very good. So Samoa Joe wins. He tweeted afterwards harshly about getting what he wanted. Next, we have the eulogy of Team Hell No. Miz got some good pops during this, including an MVP chant for his softball celebrity game performance, which I have on my DVR and I haven't got the chance to watch yet.
Man, this guy is on another level. Like, he comes out, he's just all in black. He's doing the two-handed "so sorry for your loss" handshake to people along the ramp.
There's something that me and my wife call the funeral hug, and I wish he would have done it. When somebody reaches around and they slap your back really hard, and you hear your sports coat or your blazer. I'm like, oh, he needed to do one of those. Just really extend his condolences.
His pallbearers came out with the Kane mask and wig on a mannequin head, which was great.
I wish they would have had the Doc Gallows version or the Luke Gallows version that he had. It was super frizzy.
Yeah.
That was great.
The whole thing started out great. Like, it was an actual eulogy for Team Hell No. And then it got right back into the best feud between a wrestler and a non-wrestler ever that now is between two wrestlers, and I can't wait for them to wrestle.
So he also gets a huge pop for Miz and Mrs. just announcing the premiere.
Yeah.
That's nice. WWE's got to feel good about that because I can't remember any Total Divas mentions getting pop like that. Yeah, we'll make a bold prediction because neither of us are hot on the reality show streets. Now, I will say I taught women's kickboxing. I taught kickboxing to a lot of people that found wrestling through Total Divas.
Yeah.
I still have a student who will message me and say, Cena and Nikki Bella, what's up? And she doesn't care because of WWE. She cares because of Total Divas and Total Bellas.
My brother's wife religiously watches Total Divas and got him into it, kind of where he's like, my brother is the biggest Rusev fan in the world because of Total Divas, because Rusev's there with Lana and he thinks Rusev's hilarious. And so, like, I'll send him clips every now and then of Rusev matches because he thinks he's just great. So, that's a way of doing it. My brother doesn't watch wrestling, but he loves Rusev. I mean, that's one way of getting your eyes on the company in some way.
Yeah. Do you think it'll do better numbers than Total Divas?
I think the premiere is going to do really well because I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, people really like Miz and they like Maurice.
Also, it's on the USA Network.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
And hey, listen to the thing.
Grizzly succeeds.
This is the thing. You have SmackDown as the lead-in directly into the Miz. You're going to have a lot more people keeping their TVs on SmackDown after that, as opposed to what's it? Oh, Grizzly's on. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Oh, I intentionally switch over. I've got Summer League basketball listed right now, just so I wouldn't have Grizzly up there. Miz cuts a promo on Team Hell No. You know, it's the Miz passionate promo that he does so well. Daniel Bryan interrupts, kicks one of the pallbearers' asses with a nasty German suplex.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm talking like, ugh.
I love when Bryan music hits, immediately Miz is like, get ready. Like love that, like they were absolutely his foot soldiers, and he was Shredder in that moment. Like he had brought them along just for fodder. And that was so great because they had no idea. They could have easily been legitimate mourners, but no, they were plants all along. You dastardly Miz. It's great. I loved it.
WWE Demon Diva, follow her on Twitter, giving me grief because the All-Star game is on now. Baseball All-Star game is pointless. It is pointless. Miz managed to escape this. The crowd went wild for Daniel Bryan. He hit the big knee. Cool. It was fun. Kofi Kingston has to get amped up backstage for his match with Sanity. When the match happens, I loved Kofi Kingston's baseball slide trip that he did where he slid outside the ring and caught Young's leg on the way out. Highlighted the match before the break. Young hung Kofi Kingston with a dragon sleeper from the second rope, but got caught with a big drop kick. Kofi missed Trouble in Paradise and almost got rolled up. Yeah. Young did the turnbuckle spot that Flair always did and immediately ran to the turnbuckle, which I loved. We have a lot of his matches on the Fightful Select the Jimmy Van's match archive. So it's crazy to see how much of the stuff he's kept over the last 18 years and the stuff that he still does and the stuff, how he does it so much smoother. And this was just smooth. And he and Kofi did that belly-to-belly superplex seamlessly. It was really good. I thought this match was average at best before this spot, and then it really picked up.
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston does a bit of it's sort of like the trust fall, but it's a tope con hilo. We'll call it the trusty con hilo. He does that. SOS can't get the job done inside the ring. And then we get, pardon our language, I'm trying to reduce the cursing, but fuck finishes aplenty.
Yep.
Lots of distractions. You can't just give a guy a clean win.
No.
Young gets the win with the wheelbarrow neck breaker. I think it's another one you had to do. Does Kofi get hurt one damn bit losing this in any manner?
No.
No. He's a made man there. It doesn't matter. But Young needed the win, and I'm glad he got it.
Yeah, Sanity needs wins in this feud. I'm here for it. Give me Wolf versus Woods next week, and then 2 weeks from now, give me Killian versus Big E for 8.5 minutes of just beef running into each other. That's going to be great. I love Killian Dane picking up Xavier Woods on the outside and throwing him into Kofi Kingston standing near the apron. That was great. This is a cool feud. You have two really great talented trios. Give it to me. I want to see it. Let's do it.
They need to be put in the type of match that will allow them to just completely go crazy and tear the house down.
Yeah.
Tear the house down. They need to be afforded that opportunity.
Yes.
WWE United States Championship. Right out of the gate, Nakamura tries to punch Hardy right in the penis, but Hardy gets away. Nakamura's facial expression upon getting caught was awesome.
So good.
It was great.
So good.
I like that he got more joy out of getting caught doing it than he would have actually doing it.
Absolutely.
That is demented. It's so perfect.
It is so
this
good.
is the Nakamura that we always needed. Man, that Hardy leg drop pin where he folds up a guy, there's going to be some close calls in that because Jeff Hardy ain't doing him any favors these days.
No.
Nakamura barely got up. Barely got up. Hardy hits a whisper in the wind, but Nakamura counters a drop kick and counters the drop kick, rather, the one where Hardy pushes himself up and slings himself back down. Lands a bunch of knees, and Nakamura was really hammering away with knees.
Yeah.
Viciously here.
Yeah. Yeah, this was good stuff. This was I think the absolute polar opposite of their match at Extreme Rules. This was great. Back and forth. This might have been the best singles match of Jeff Hardy's since he returned to WWE. I can't think of anything better than this.
There was one with Jinder Mahal that I thought was very good. I think it was on Raw, maybe. It was outstanding.
Listen, though. It was a good match for having Jinder Mahal in it. This was actually Shinsuke Nakamura putting in good work. And when he puts in good work, and Jeff Hardy's at the top of his game, which it felt like he was, this was a really, really good match. Because we've been talking about how Hardy's looking slow and hurt. Like he powered through that, whatever that was.
He said he was hurt.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. Shinsuke set up for the Kinshasa. Hardy hits a move. Was the sling blade intentional, or did he mean to go for something else?
It was a weird, like, clothesliney thing that he kind of like, whoa.
The sleeper slam, where he catches him.
Yes.
But he got caught and did another one. Okay. God, I plugged the hell out of Fightful Select. But retro review, SummerSlam 92. Remember when Bret went over the top and Bulldog forgot to catch him? And Bret Hart ended up doing essentially a slingshot version of Randy Orton's backbreaker. That's what happened here. It was a very happy accident.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Twist of fate and a swanton bomb, but Randy Orton pulls Jeff Hardy out of the ring. This was a good beatdown. Now, the match, on my rating system, I give it a 6 out of 10. Like you said, a good TV match.
Yeah.
It's where that type of thing lands. Hardy wins via DQ. Orton rams Hardy's head into the stairs, really beats him up, but that's not what we're talking about here. Oh, he ripped at Jeff Hardy's ear. This was neat. It was different. It was different.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I do not have the pierced ears. That's what's called a gauge, where you have like the major hole in the ear. They did a really interesting thing. Like I noticed this before and didn't think to connect it until after the match. But they had a camera on Jeff Hardy as he was taking out his gauges before the match. Like he came to the ring with them in, took them out. They had a camera on him, like pretty close as he was doing that, to like let you know that's what that is. And then later at the thing was as like Randy Orton's a big dude. I'm gonna go ahead and say he wears XL or double XL gloves. Like he hooked in a whole finger up to the second knuckle.
That's lost on people sometimes. He is a big ass dude.
He's like 6'5". He's a big dude. So his hands are got to be massive, and just hooking in a finger and yanking like it was gruesome. It was not something I'd ever seen before. His whole thing of like, you want to know why I'm doing this? All I got to do is ask. That's interesting. I'm wondering, like, it can't be this, can it? On the night after the SmackDown after WrestleMania, where Jinder was the new U.S. champ, and he's out there, Randy comes down first, and then Jeff comes next, and like walks past him to get his shot at the title, then becomes champion. And I don't think we've seen Randy pretty much since. So is Randy is pissed that like Jeff took his spot in the open challenge and then became champ? I mean, if that's it, okay, fine. But I'd love it if it was like something like from like 2009. Like, is it something from that long ago that he just got him stewing this whole time? But yeah, this is
what Orton. Orton
yeah,
got, I mean, I think his last match was with Jeff Hardy, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. This is the kind of Orton that I want to see. I don't. It was torture having to root for him versus Jinder Mahal for months. Randy Orton's a despicable dude. Like, he just is. Like, even when he's a babyface, he's just not a nice guy. So it's good to have this guy where you actively like, yeah, I want to see this guy get his comeuppance because he's awful, you know. And he's nobody does it better than he does. Like, when he's in his, like, back in the old punt days of Randy Orton, like, he was sadistic. That's a trait that, like, very few guys can pull that off.
That's what I want to see him do, is do something just more sick.
Yeah.
Each time. If Braun Strowman's thing is tearing shit up, Nakamura wants to punch everybody in the ball sack, let Randy Orton do something demented. Otherwise, you're just biding time until eventually he's in a tag team, or eventually he does like a rookie killer type of thing. Because those are two of the ready-made ways you can go with him that haven't really been done. You could say briefly with the Wyatt family, but that wasn't really a team. That was the setup.
No, and then there was a weird thing where he like burned down Bray Wyatt's childhood home and like all the ashes of his sister. And we were like, "Yay, we are rooting for you, Randy!" Like, no, I don't. You're a sick dude. You know, like I like when you actually you do the sick stuff and you're not also asking for us to cheer you.
Somebody says bring back punt kicks. Yeah, that ain't happening.
No.
I mean, it doesn't need to either, because
no.
I'm bothered that they did some of those as recently as they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they were gross, man.
Yeah.
They were gross, man. Whew. We got some news. Some of the wrestlers that are added for the UK tapings: Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Trent Seven, Tyler Bate, Zach Gibson, Tony Storm, Joe Coffey, Jenny, Charlie Morgan are advertised, and reported are Rhea Ripley, Noam Dar, Nixon Newell, and Dakota Kai. Your thoughts on these names?
Excellent. We never got to talk about it, and I watched it a couple of weeks late, but I love that new tournament and all those.
I still haven't got to watch it. I'm going to, but
God.
Man, I've been slammed.
Yeah, it's really good. All those undercard matches, I was like, man, these guys left me wanting more. A lot of them left me wanting more, and it was really cool because especially the original tournament, so many of the guys were undersized. I mean, they were not all cruiserweights, but none of them were big dudes. But they got a couple of guys who were big old hosses who are in this new division, and I'm interested in watching that and how that matches up. And Pete Dunne, I still believe if that guy was 6'5", he'd be the biggest star in the WWE. I still believe he should be one of them, but like he's so interesting to watch and so damn talented. I love that guy.
New class of Performance Center recruits reported today, headlined by Keith Lee, Fightful Pro Series contributor Deonna Purrazzo, former Stardom champion Io Shirai, and former Impact Wrestling knockout MJ Jenkins. MJ Jenkins kind of known for, I think she flew herself there. And I mean, Deonna flew herself to an Impact taping for a fourth match, Dave Lagana said. I can tell you guys that when we started Pro Series, we had a lot of people that were supposed to write for us. And then immediately, like almost all of them became contractually ineligible. Like I hatched out all these deals, like 5 or 6. and all of them. But Kincaid was the one that stayed, and he still writes for us. Deanna wanted to write for us just for the experience of doing so, and wouldn't let us pay her for it. She just wanted to have something else to do. So I was like, oh, okay, let's talk to form a pay. And she's like, no pay. I just want to write. I want the experience of doing it. She's like 23.
She's young, very young.
23, has already appeared on, or 24, just turned 24. It's already appeared on SmackDown, NXT, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and has done work for Stardom. Boy, that's nice. Oh, by the way, she's worked 60-minute matches with men under Rip Rogers. That sounds miserable. Sorry, Rip.
Yeah.
He probably screamed the F word at her at least 74 times, knowing Rip. That's the way he operates. So that's a big one. Keith Lee, we've seen what he's capable of.
Oh, yeah. I want Keith Lee to join SmackDown as Big E's uncle. Like that's what his character should be. Uncle Keith, and he should be there, and he should be like, boy, you ain't doing this right. Like he'd be like kind of his like Big E's like conscience on one shoulder, always never good enough for Uncle Keith. Like that guy's really great. And he's gonna do some really cool things in NXT. There's some matches available to him right now that I would love to see.
So I kind of hope he is Keith Powell, the son of Sergeant Owl Powell from Die Hard. Then we can get a Bruce Willis cameo.
Sure, why not?
I'm down for it. Down for it. That is a big one. Io Shirai, a big one. MJ Jenkins, another good addition.
Yeah.
When I talked about how I don't expect there to be the depth that there was this spring out there for women, because you had Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo, Tessa Blanchard, Santana Garrett out there running around. Tessa got signed. Deonna got signed. Chelsea's going to get signed.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kiera Hogan is available right now. I know her deal was up at the end of June in Impact. She's real good. If Impact doesn't re-sign her, they dumb. They dumb because WWE will. And really all that would be out there is Santana Garrett, who works WWE shows here and there. So, man, that's a nice class, and you have some amateur wrestlers in there. It's a bunch of people we kind of knew about, but man, the Performance Center, the rich get richer, Alex.
Yeah. No, they really do. Like it's one of those things where I almost wonder, like, if the NXT thing of these guys who they wind up, some of them, they go up right away onto TV. Some of them takes a little while longer. They're developing characters, whatnot. But it almost feels like these guys are get to a certain point where they've hit this amazing stride in NXT, and like, great, here's good news. You get called up to the main roster, and you're not going to be on TV for 2 months. And I wonder if there's a transition that's better than that. I don't know what that is. If they stay in NXT a little longer, if they can go back and forth, like they're on the main roster, but they get to go back down to NXT. It's kind of like have a couple of farewell matches, like on TV. The Revival had a farewell tour on NXT live events, but like they didn't. But there's got to be some middle ground. Authors of Pain, Andrade Cien Almas, these guys get called up, and they need to be major players wherever they are. They can't just be sidelined.
Remember when we said Apollo Crews and Dana Brooke got called up too early?
Yeah.
And
unless it's weird. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, sometimes you get cut out. I mean, they haven't been doing that, to their credit. They haven't been calling up people way too early anymore. I mean, you could say Carmella maybe, but look where she is now. Like it worked out for her. So
look at the people that are getting cut from WWE. You've got Emma.
Yeah,
she's going to anchor the Women of Honor division now.
Yep.
You have Enzo and Cass, who could have me and you thought they were going to be the new age Outlaws, and they could have been.
Absolutely, they could have been. Yep.
They played themselves. They got in the way of themselves. Man, so you just never know. A Rich Swann kind of.
Yeah.
They're not cutting a lot of people just to cut them.
No.
Emma, that's it.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
Emma, and that was
Juan saw himself out, and he's doing fine now. He's working for Impact, doing well.
Yeah.
Stood me up for an interview, by the way, but just saying.
Yeah.
But we do have exclusive interviews and stories coming from Conrad Thompson, from Jeff Jarrett, Paige Van Zant, Johnny Mundo, Nitro Morrison, Impact, whatever the hell he calls himself, Colby Covington, just tons of stuff all over the place, including the Fightful Wrestling Weekly, which our friends over at Pro Wrestling Unlimited cover very well. Go subscribe to them on YouTube and follow them on Twitter. Alex, what do you got going on this week?
Wife is doing business trips, so she's back every night. But I have the kid from dawn until well after dusk, and so it's one of those things where it's just like it's a little different because usually I'm good until mid-afternoon. I can keep her entertained and happy, but sometimes it's the #dad life.
Guys, I want to encourage you all, of course, Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com. Click that exclusives tab. Some of you all sleep on that. I got all kinds of stuff that goes up there, from analysis from Christopher Harrington and David Bixenspan to my Fightful Wrestling Weekly to exclusive interviews to just behind-the-scenes news. We have a lot of it. Of course, follow us at Twitter or on Twitter at Fightful Online. We're increasing our Facebook presence as well. Like us there. But right now, at Fightful Online on Instagram, we have a contest going thanks to our friends over at OMG and OMG.com. Very simple to enter. Very fun to enter. Go check it out, as well as that Holy Smokes MMA podcast today. Last week was our most watched show ever. We're breaking records regularly on Fightful, and I can't thank you guys enough for making that happen. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. We're out.